Namaste and welcome to this exciting episode of Sathology Debunking Mythology. Sat means truth, Logos means a study or science, Sathology means a science of truth or study of truth. Opposite of that is mythology, which means a study of fake lie imagination. Myth is a Sanskrit word meaning fake lie imagination. There are a large group of people who are in Europe and USA and all parts of the world, between 4 to 40 million people who are called Romanis. And they are the Hindus who migrated from north of India. And some of them, they practice the Hindu culture. And the patron saint with the church took over is called Sara, which is from Kali. Sarai Kali was a name in southern France. There was a temple over there. Today, over the years, Hindus which spread all over the world, that's a real Aryan invasion theory, that Hindus went from India to Europe and other parts of the world. That's a real Aryan invasion theory. And the origin is that it's a very old civilization, very old. So today I have a very good researcher and a good friend, Dr. M.L. Raja, who will share with us some proofs from inscriptional proofs from Aihole to Kurukshetra. So without delay, let us welcome Dr. Raja. So Dr. Raja, before we start off, and there's a lot of controversy between going on in Hinduism and Hindutva. What is your take on that?
See, Hindu is Dharma. First you understand. It is, we cannot equate Hindu as a religion. Even Supreme Court of India mentions it is a philosophy, way of life. It is not just only a way of worship. It is a Dharma. Dharma is eternal. Dharma we cannot define, which upholds everything in the universe, all laws, all rules and regulations, and beyond that. It includes that also, the way of worship, everything. So Dharma is an eternal thing, and because that Dharma was given to Hindus, so that it can be properly understood and keep in uphold, so it is known as Hindu Dharma. And there is no Hinduism, the communism, capitalism, like that. That if you say Hinduism, you have to, you can say that we are mentioning it in a lower way. Hindutva means how do we practice Hindu Dharma? Bhavanitvam means to become Bhavani or Bhavanitvam. If we can address Bhavani Mata as Bhavanitvam, and also Bhavanitvam means being a Bhavani. Like that, Hindutva is a culture, it's a way of life, it is a philosophy, and it is a Dharma. That is the supreme thing. It is a Hindu Dharma. Hindu Dharma teaches not only science, even Atmajnana also teaches. It mainly teaches what is the main important purpose of taking birth in this world. That is the main thing. See, Hindu Dharma gives certain Dharma and Mukti, that is attainment of reaching God. That are the two important things in the human life. And Artha and Kama, that means the yearning of money or power, anything. And also the Kama means that is enjoyment. All these things should be within, should come through dharmic way only, and this Artha and Kama should flow within the two banks of Dharma and Moksha. Then only the soul can reach God. That is the way of Hindu Dharma. So Hindu Dharma basically teaches what is the purpose of taking birth in this world, and that main purpose of the Atma to take birth in this world is to attain Mukti, or we can realize what is our identity. That is Jivatma. That is our Atmic consciousness that we should attain. For that only we are taking birth. See, Vishnu Purana in the second Adhyaya, third chapter, between 20 to 24th sloka, it mentions that is because of the punya, that is good deed that have been done in thousands of births. A soul uh, rarely got the chance of taking birth in India as a human being. Why? Because in a Atma which takes birth as a human being in India, that only can reach the self-realization, that is Mukti, or to mingle with that Jivatma, mingle with Paramatma. That is the only way. Swami Vivekananda mentions that it is the only route that the Atma can reach God. That is the only route Swami Vivekananda mentions. The same thing mentioned by Vyasa Rishi, Parasara Rishi in Vishnu Purana. That's why this nation, India, is better than even heaven. Even Deva thinks that the human beings who born in India, they are more bhagya. They are more lucky to take birth in India, because that is mentioned as Gayanti Devaha Kila Gita Kani Dhanyastu Te Bharata Bhumi Bhage Swarga Abhavargas Padamarga Bhute Bhavanti Bhuyaga Purushaha Swaratvat. Suratvat, that is Deva. Deva are singing that the human beings who take birth in Bharata, that is India, which is the only route to reach God, is more bhagya, more lucky than Deva themselves. Like that, because the punya only we can take birth in this India, and it is the only route. So, the people in India are vested with this dharma. They are Hindu. So it is known as Hindu Dharma. So the civilization, the way of life, the philosophy, everything that is known as Hindutva. There is no ism, Hinduism. We cannot call it as Hinduism. That is a misnomer, I think so. It is my opinion, because we cannot equate as communism or capitalism or any other ism. So Hindu Dharma is something we can only realize it. That is a supreme thing, and it is eternal, ever living. There is no beginning and end. You can see that who started this Hindu religion or Hindu Dharma, we don't know. What is the single book? That also we don't know. We are having a library of books for Hindu Dharma. And if this Dharma is in the hands of these people who are living in this Bharata, who are known as Hindu, so it is known as Hindu Dharma, and it was protected by Hindu people, and thus Dharma has to spread throughout the world, so that all the people who take birth in other countries also, they can realize God. That is the Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. We are thinking that all human beings, not only human beings, even living things throughout the universe, as our family. That is the thing. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaga. Everybody should be happy. And like that is the way of thinking of Hindu Dharma. So we cannot compare it with any other thing. That's why Swami Vivekananda mentioned in Chicago's speech. You can understand. I am thanking in the name of Mother of Religions. That is the word given. You can verify it. I am thanking in the name of Mother of Religions. It's a great thing. You have to realize. Thank you, Ji.
Great quote, mother of all religions. So, Dr. Raja, you can share it, and while you're sharing it, I'll make my comments here.
Okay.
The people of the world have not understood that the most of the parts of the world, all natives of the world, follow a similar culture, including Hindus. Hindus are the natives of India and South Asia generally, and but all parts of the world follow a native culture which is closely inspired by Hindutva. So with that, you can start your presentation, Dr. Raja, anytime.
Okay.
So today we are talking about the inscriptional evidence from Aihole to the Kurukshetra. Please go ahead.
Okay. I express my heartfelt thanks to Aditya ji and also the volunteers of Sethology and the great eminent personalities and professors and students who are listening this lesson. In this session, I am going to narrate how from the Aihole inscription and the corroborative Gramam inscription, how can we derive the date of Mahabharata war which happened at Kurukshetra? That is the thing. Before starting that, I want to mention two other points. In the previous my lecture, the Vedic knowledge and cosmos of the universe, somebody asked me, what is Purushaka? See, in Rig Veda, in the 10th Mandala and the 90th Sukta, the whole Sukta is known as Purusha Sukta. That explains the characters, everything about Purushaka. Anybody want to learn, if they can get a translation of that. In the first mantra itself, it says Sagasarashisha Purushaga, Sagasrakshaka, Sagasrapad, Sabhumim, Viswo Viritva Atyadishta Dasangulam. So that is with that it starts. So we cannot explain Purushaga through science because science has limitations. For example, I will give 5 things. We cannot see whole of electromagnetic radiation. That previous thing I explained. We cannot hear all the sounds. Even ultrasound it can be heard by dogs and cats. We cannot have high frequency sounds. Dolphins can hear. We cannot have. And also infrasound. Elephants can hear, but we cannot. So our thing is the limitations. All 5 senses have limitations, and also we don't know what is life, what is mind, what is intellectual, what is thought. That we don't know. Even now, the medicine has advanced. We don't know what is the function of frontal lobe of the brain correctly, and also medicine cannot state that where is mind is located in the body. So that itself we don't know. And also there are millions and millions of stars, planets and satellites. We don't know what exists there. Even not even 1% of that we don't know. So science has limitations. So with the defective scale, we cannot measure correctly. That is the thing. So science has limitations, but Jnana, Atma Jnana have no limitations. And if you practice Jnana, you can realize, we cannot understand, we can only realize Purushaka. With that words, I'm going to narrate the thing. This is Aihole inscription. It is from Megudi temple at Aihole village in Karnataka state. It is written in Sanskrit poem. The king is Pulikeshi II of Western Chalukya of Badami. What it mentions the date after Mahabharata war in 3735th year of Kali Yuga and in the 556th year of Sakara, this inscription is inscribed by Ravi Kirti. So we know that Salivagana Saga began in 78 Common Era, so it is 634 Common Era. So through that we can prove Kali Yuga began in 3101 BCE. That is the thing. And this inscription mentions 2 or 3 important things. One is Ravi Kirti compares himself as Kalidas and Bharavi. That is not in our view, in our scope of this lecture. And it mentions an important point that the Harsasiladitya of Sthaneswara Pushyabudhi dynasty was defeated at the hands of Pulikeshi II, whose regnal period is this one, and Harsasiladitya regnal period is this. And Harsasiladitya was mentioned by Chinese traveler Huan Shuang as his contemporary through his books and also Life of Huan Shuang and also Siyuki. Here, Chinese traveler Huan Shuang mentions that Harsa couldn't win Pulikeshi II. That also he mentioned, and also he went to Chalukya kingdom also. He mentioned Pulikeshi II name also. And another thing is the Pallava kings. Pallava is the area of Chennai and Kanjipuram, that in Nellore, southern part of Andhra Pradesh and northern eastern part of Tamil Nadu in India. So Pallava kings Mahendra and Narasimha were contemporary to Pulikeshi II. That these all things prove that the date is correct and the Kali Yuga began in 3101 BCE. This is the photography of the inscription. I thank our ISI And this is exact how the letters look like in Aikole inscription. And in that inscription, it mentioned Trimsatsu, that means 30. 3 Sahasresu, that is 3000. And Sabda, Abda, Sadayuktesu, that is 700. And Panchasu. So 30 plus 3000 plus 700 plus 5, that is 3735. Kalaukale. You see Kalaukale. So 3735. And Satsu, Panchasu, Satsu, Panchasadasu. Panchasadasu means 500. And Panchasu is 5. Panchasatsu means 50. So 556 Sakana Bubujana. 556 years of Salivagana Saga. Where is Mahabharata is mentioned? Mahabharata is mentioned here. Bharatat Ahavat Idaha. Idaha means from that, Sanskrit. Bharatat, from Bharata. Ahava means war. So from the war of Bhagavata, in Kali Yuga 3735 years, and Saka era 556 years. Samasu Samadhitasu, that is in equally in the same way. That is 3735 is equal to 556 of Saka. That also he mentioned. So that much important inscription. And this is the location of this Aigole inscription. This is India, and this is Karnataka, northern part of Karnataka. And this is Gramam inscription is in Tamil Nadu, near Vilupuram. Here Gramam, this is Aigole. So, coming to one each point, I will explain. The period of Huanshuang as per Chinese records. Because Huanshuang mentions Harsasiladitya and Chalukya Pulikeshitu. So, if we know the period of Huanshuang, we can definitely know the period of Harsasiladitya and Pulikeshitu. Huanshuang was the descendant of Song Kong. He was the ruler of Taikyu during the rule of Han dynasty of China. What is the period of Han dynasty? 206 to 220 Common Era. This is not BCE. BCE is a 220 Common Era. So 220 Common Era means after that only Huanshuang. Okay, period. And his great grandfather Qin lived during the rule of Yattarvai dynasty. The Yattarvai dynasty much after this 220 Common Era. And his grandfather was appointed as the president of Imperial College, that is Old University of Peking, the capital of China, present day China, during the rule of Northern or later at Goqi dynasty, whose period is 550 to 577 Common Era. So definitely Huanshuang period must be later than this. And his father lived during the rule of Sui dynasty, that is 581 to 618 Common Era. So minimum of 10 to 20 years after this. Thus, the period of travel of Huanshuang in India between 630 to 645 Common Era is correct as per Chinese records and chronology. So, when Huanshuang period is between 630 to 645 in India, then Pulikeshitu and Harsasiladitya period should also be between 600 to 650. We can say 1 or 10 or 20 years this side, that side. So definitely 600 to 650 is the period of Harsasiladitya and Pulikeshitu. That we, from Chinese chronology, Chinese records, we are understanding. So if you want to alter, you have to alter the Chinese records also. That is very difficult. And this defeating of Harsasiladitya by Pulikeshi was not only mentioned in Aigole inscription, in many inscriptions of the later kings of Chalukya of Badami and also Chalukya of Kalyani. Both Western Chalukya, they are mentioning. See, in this, it is a Kendur plate of Kirtivarma II, the last king of Chalukya of Badami. He mentioned Sakala Uttara Padeswara, that is the king of all northern part of India. Sri Harshavardhana Parajaya was defeated. So, Pulikesi was given a title of Parameswara. That is the thing. I thank all the pictures of ASI. I have taken all the Government of India books only, not mine. So it is an authentic records. This is the Kendur plates of Kirtivarma. Period is 749 Common Era, Saka era 671. And this is Gadwal plates of Vikramaditya I. Vikramaditya I, he came immediately after Pulikesi as the king of Chalukya Badami. He also mentioned that the glorious Harshavardhana was defeated by Pulikesi, and he is the lord of whole northern country. So northern part of India. So that clearly mentioned it is only Harsasiladidya, not any other person. Okay. Of Pusyabodhi dynasty. This is the inscription. Gadwal plates of Vikramaditya. Date is AD 673, Saka 595. Okay. And then this is Narvan copper plates of Chalukya Vikramaditya II. Vikramaditya I, after that Vinayaditya and Vijayaditya, after that Vikramaditya II. That is the order of genealogy. So his period is 664 Common Era, 742 Common Era, 664 Saka era. In that also this defeat of Harsasiladitya at the hands of Pulikesi II was mentioned in the same way. In the same way, Vinayaditya, who came to power after Vikramaditya I, who came to power after Pulikesi II, is the second king after Pulikesi. Vinayaditya, this inscription date is Saka 611 and 10th year of rule of Vinayaditya, that is 689 Common Era. In this copper plate also it was mentioned that Pulikesi II defeated Harsasiladitya, who was the lord of northern countries. And Vokalari copper plate of Kirtivarma, I have already shown the another copper plate of Kirtivarma. He is the last king of Chalukya Badami, Western Chalukya Badami, Saga 679, and the period is 757 Common Era. Around 760 Common Era, the Western Chalukya Badami rule ended and Rashtrakuta rule came. This is the inscription. In this also you can see Sri Harshavardhana, Sakala Uttara Padeswara, that is the king of whole of northern Bharat. Sri Harshavardhana, Parajaya, Parameswara. That's why Pulikesi got the Pulikesi II got the title Parameswara. So another thing is Kautam copper plate of Vikramaditya V. This also mentioned the same way, but it mentions clearly Salivagana, Saka Nirupa Kaladita Samvatsara. That is after the end of Saka Nirupa Kala, that is Cyrus era. And that Samvatsara 930, that is Salivagana Saga 1800 Common Era. You can see the even Satyasraya Salukya Harsa Mahanirupasya, he was defeated. So that is the thing it is mentioned here. Satyasraya is another name for Pulikesi II. He defeated Harsa Mahanirupasya. Vijita, you see, Vijita. Vijita means victory. This is the Kautam plate of Vikramaditya V. And another thing is, this is on one side, Chalukya inscriptions, which mentions the contemporariness of Harsasiladitya with Chalukya Pulikesi II. First Huanswang records, then the inscriptions of Chalukya, Western Chalukya. Now the contemporariness of Magendra Varma and Narasimha Varma. Narasimha Varma was the son of Magendra Varma. So Magendra Varma was almost defeated by Pulikesi II in his attack on Kanchi. So to take a revenge, his son, Magendra Varma's son, Narasimha Varma attacked and destroyed Vatapi, the capital of Chalukya Pulikesi. That is, in northern India it was mentioned as Badami. In Tamil it mentioned as Vatapi. This is Tirukkalukundram. Tirukkalukundram is a famous Shiva temple southern of Chennai. It's around 60 to 70 kilometers southern of Chennai. This is the inscription, rock cut stone inscription of Narasimha Varma I, who defeated Chalukya Pulikesi. So here you see Narasingha Pottaraya Vatapi Konda. Vatapi Kondana, who captured, Konda means in Tamil, who captured, who obtained, like that. So Vatapi is another name. In northern India, they will call as Badami, the capital of Chalukya Pulikesi. Now in Tamil it mentions as Vatapi. Vatapi konda Narasimha Potharaya. Even that the title of Narasimha Varma is Vatapi konda Narasimha Varma in Tamil Nadu. Who took Vatapi, that is Batami. Okay. There is another inscription in Batami itself, Narasimha Varma Pallava. It is in Pallava Grantha. Definitely the Grantha itself shows it is a Pallava inscription. In that it mentions Bharadwaja Gotra. Usually the Pallava, they traces their genealogy from Bharadwaja, Drona, Aswatthama and Pallava like that. They say they are the descendant of Bharadwaja, Drona and Aswatthama. So Bharadwaja Gotra, Mahamalla. Narasimha Varma has another name is Malla. Okay, so he is known as Mahamallar. Mahamalla Narasimha Varma. His ancestor is mentioned as Simha Vishnu. Simha Vishnu is a great grandfather of Narasimha Varma. So it definitely proves that the inscription is Badam itself. It is inscribed by Narasimha Varma. It shows a clear proof that Narasimha Varma destroyed Vatapi and killed Pulikesi too. And this is another strong evidence with the name itself. Kuram copper plates of Parameswar Varma Pallava. You can see that Pulakesi, you see Pulakesi name itself, and Vijaya Akshara. That means on the back of Pulikesi, after his defeat, Narasimha Pallava wrote Vijaya, that is victory, on his back. He has written on a rock or on a paper. He wrote it and sent him out. See here also it mentioned Vatapi. Kalaseyena Vatapi. That means they compare Narasimha Pallava from Agastya Rishi. Agastya Rishi who came from Kalasa, that is Kumbha, and who destroyed the Rakshasa Vatapi. So in that the Rishi who born in Kalasa, who destroyed Vatapi, like that this Narasimha Pallava destroyed Vatapi. Vatapi is a name of city when you say Narasimha Pallava. It is a name of a Rakshasa when you say Agastya. That is the thing. You see this Pulikesi, yes, syllables, the word Vijaya, that is victory, yes, on a plate on Pulikesi's back, which will be caused to be visible when he send him out in the battle of Parayala, Manamangala and Suramara, who destroyed the city of Vatapi just as the pitcher born, that is Agastya, who destroyed the demon Vatapi. That clearly proves that Narasimha Pallava destroyed Vatapi and he is contemporary to Pulikesi too. And this is Kasukudi copper plate of Nandivarma Pallava. Nandivarma is a later king after Narasimha Varma. He also mentioned that Narasimha Varma, see Vatapi Jaya Narasimha Varma. So there are clear proofs that Makendra Varma, Narasimha Varma and Pulikesi too are contemporary. This is the inscription. And another interesting aspect is how we relate this Aikhola inscription with Gramam inscription of Parantaka Chola Chakravarti. This is Atakur stone inscription in the temple of Chelliswara in Mandya Taluk and district of Karnataka. It is an inscription by Rashtrakuta king, almost last king of Rashtrakuta, that is Krishna III. It mentions a day in a Sakaniruppa Kalatita Samvatsara, that is Salivagana Saga, 872, that is 950 Common Era. You can see this Sakaniruppa Kalatita Samvatsara, Sadangal Yentu Nuri Eppadi in Kannada. Okay. Yendu Nuru means Etunuru, Elubatu Yarada. Yarada means 2, Elubatu means Elubadu in Kannada, 872. This case mentions Sola Rajaditya. You see Sola Rajaditya. There is another thing. There is a Bhutka who is a subordinate to this Kannara Deva. Kannara Deva is another name for Krishna. He killed Rajaditya Kalyana Agiri. That is by treacherous method he killed Rajaditya in the battle. Bhutka is a subordinate to Kannaradeva. So that battle, Rajaditya was killed, a Chola prince. Who is Rajaditya? He is the son of Parantaka Chola Chakravarti, the eldest son, first son of Parantaka Chola Chakravarti. So this is Gramam inscription of Parantaka Chola Chakravarti. It I have already shown, that is Kali Yuga 4044, and it mentions Kali days 14,77,037. If you divide by common average days of per year, it definitely gives 4043.8, that is 4044th year. And regnal period of Madrakanda Kopara Kesari Parantaka Chola Chakravarti we know. So from that it proves. This is the inscription. You can see Tamil letter Ka, Li, U, Ka, Varsha, Nalayarathi. Like that it will come. Okay. This is the inscription. That is on the northern wall of Sivalokanatha temple of Gramam, a village situated on the southern bank of Tenpennai river, close to Viluppuram. That is 170 kilometers southwest of Chennai. So in that the Tamil portion mentioned the Veera Shoda Perumanadigal Maganar Rajaditya. That is Veera. Parantaka Chola Chakravarti got another name, Veera Narayana. The Veeranam lake, what we call it, is a Veera Narayana lake that was created by Rajaditya. And he named that lake after his father's name, and he constructed a Vishnu temple, Veera Narayana Perumal, on the eastern bank of that lake. So Veera Shoda Perumanadigal Maganar, that is the son of Veera Shoda Peruman, that is Parantaka Chola Chakravarti, Rajaditya Deva. Who constructed this temple is Perumpade Nayakar, that is the chief of army staff, Malaynattu Nandi Karaiputtur, who came from Kerala, Nandi Karaiputtur, Vellang Kumaran, that was the name of that chief of army staff who constructed the temple. This is Sanskrit portion. That also mentions Rajaditya. So, Parantaka Chola Chakravarti's son is Rajaditya, and he was killed by Bhutaka, a subordinate of Krishna III. So, both are contemporary. Krishna III and Parantaka Chola Chakravarti were contemporary. That we came to understand from these two inscriptions. So, this is the flow chart. You can see Chalukya, Pulikeshi II, whose inscription is Aigole 3735 Kali. And this is Parantaka Chola Chakravarti of Gramam inscription 4044. Whose son Rajaditya was defeated by subordinate of Krishna III in the Takkodam. Takkodam is near Kanjipuram, west of Chennai. He is a Rashtrakuda king. So there are 5 kings, and from these 11 kings, total 16 kings from Parantaka to Pulikeshi, that is 4044 to 3735, that is 309 years. So average for 16 kings, average is less than 20 years. So it is acceptable. So the Gramam inscription corroborates the date of Aikole inscription. Through this we can understand. This is way how you interrelate and understand, and also how to read the inscription, how to interpret the inscription in the correct way. And this is another thing, this Badami Chalukya was defeated. The Kirtivarma II was Dandi Durga, the first king of Rashtrakuda dynasty. That we should understand. That is first Chalukya, Western Chalukya, who ruled from Badami. They ruled for 200 years, 200-300 years. After that, the Rashtrakuda defeated them, and they started their kingdom, Manayakedu as their capital, and they ruled for 200 years, 750 to 950, around that. After that, again, this Chalukya, Western Chalukya, defeated the last king of Rashtrakuda after Krishna III, and they established again Western Chalukya kingdom with the capital now at Kalyani. So that's why we call it Chalukya of Kalyani and Chalukya of Badami. And they ruled for another 200 years. That we should understand. This is Dandi Durga defeated Chalukya. This is the Kargat copper plate of Krishna III of Rashtrakuda king. You can see Dandi Durga. You can see, and this Chalukya Kula. So Dandi Durga defeated Chalukya. This is the inscription. And it mentions the date as Sakanirupa Kaladita Samvatsara, that is 958 Kamanara. You can see that Sakanirupa Kaladita Samvatsara. Ashtacha, Asit Adihesu, like that. 900. Nava Ashta Asit. That means 958. This is the inscription. And this is Saman God copper plate inscription of Dandi Durga himself. He mentioned that he defeated Chalukya. See, you can see this name Sri Dandi Durga, and also Vallabha. Vallabha is another name for Chalukya. So he defeated. That is the inscription. And Diwali copper plate of Krishna 3. He mentions the date as Sapa Nirupa Kaladita Samvatsara. Because somebody is telling that this Pulikesi to Sagavarsa is Cyrus era or some other era. It is definitely not. Because Rashtrakuta kings and also Chalukya Kalyani, they use Saka Nirupa Kaladita. That is the end of, from the end of Saka Nirupa Kala. That is from the beginning of Salivagana Saga. For to prove that only I am giving this inscription, Saka Nirupa Kaladita Samvatsara. This is the inscription. And also Tungabhadra expedition of Govinda Raja, another king of Rashtrakuta. He also mentions Saka Nirupa Kaladita. You can see Saka Nirupa Kaladita. In Kannada it mentioned Elunuru, Eppatti Redu, Aru, like that it will mention. 726. This is the inscription. And Mayurkand copper plate inscription of Govinda 3. It also mentions Saka Nirupa Kaladita. Yes, the period of this inscription. So like that, all inscriptions clearly mention not only this Vikramaditya 5 and also this Vikramaditya 5 of Western Chalukya Kalyani, and also many Rashtrakuta kings who came after Chalukya Badami, clearly mentioned as Saka Nirupa Kaladita Samvatsara Sadesa Saptesa. That means 700. Trimsat Adihe, that is 30, 730. So definitely it shows that Saka 556 mentioned in Aigole inscription is Salivagana Saka. There is no doubt in it. So based on this, I want to come to a conclusion. The 6 points we have to remember from this lecture is many inscriptions of Chalukya, Badami and Kalyani, and also the inscription of Aikole of Pulikeshitu clearly mention Harsasiladitya of Staneswara, Pushyabudhi dynasty was defeated at the hands of Pulikeshitu. So Pulikeshitu and Harsasiladitya were contemporary. And Harsasiladitya and Pulikeshitu contemporary, and in turn they are contemporary with Huanswang is clearly mentioned by Huanswang in the life of Huanswang, and also Siyuki, written by his disciple as per the order of Huanswang, as per his advice and also teaching. He wrote that book. In that book, it clearly mentioned that Harsasiladitya and Pulikeshitu were contemporary, no doubt in it. And Huanswang period also we know from Chinese historical chronology, that is around 625 Common Era. So Harsasiladitya and Pulikesi should be around 625 Common Era only. And this Pandava king Mahendravarma and Nandivarma's contemporariness to Pulikesi too, proved by many Pandava inscriptions that I have detailed. And the chronological interconnectivity of Aikole inscription with Gramam inscription, that also I have proved how they are interconnected and how they are correct in regarding the regnal period, average regnal period of king. And these inscriptions of Chalukya and their immediate succession Rashtrakuta, Chalukya Badami followed by Rashtrakuta, after that Chalukya Kalyani, they all mention Saka Nirupa Kaladita Samvatsara. That means Salivagana Saka. So these 6 points we should understand correctly. Another important thing is, we can see when the period of Chalukya Badami Pulikesi to or Gramam inscription. From present day backwards, like that also we can assess. So there are 75 years of independence of India and 150 years of foreign colonial rule, 100 years of Maratha Empire, 250 years of Vijayanagara Empire, 200 years of Hoysala, Kakatiya, later Pandya ruled southern part of Tamil Nadu, also central part. Kakatiya ruled Andhra Pradesh, north of Tamil Nadu, and Hoysala ruled Karnataka and also southern, some parts of Kongu part in Tamil Nadu, and also sometimes Chola area also. So all three ruled different areas. and the same 200 years, and 300 years of later Chola Empire, from 600 to 900 to 1200, and 300 years of Pallava and Chalukya Empire, that is from 550 to 900 Pallava rule and also Chalukya rule. So that is a thing we have to understand. So these are all the thing. If you go back from today's to Chalukya Empire, during this last mentioned 300 plus 300 years, Chalukya Badami is for 200 years, 200 years of Rashtrakuta and 200 years of Kalyani were also coexisted. So for Aikola inscription, 75 plus 150 plus 100, this 100, 250, 200, and these 300, 300, if we add 3735 Kali Yuga Aikola inscription, it is 5110 years before present. If you for Gramam inscription, it is 5109 years. So I am taking only on average 5 years here and there. So it definitely proves that Kali Yuga began 5120 years before present, as per our almanac. So if you trace the chronology from Pulikesi to our Parantaka Chola Chakravarti, it definitely proves that Kali Yuga Aikola inscription is 634 Common Era, and this is 4044 Kali Yuga. So it definitely proves that Kali Yuga began in 5121 years before present. Even through interconnectivity of inscription, contemporaneous Tuan Swang and other kings, and also tracing the period of Pulikesi II and Parantaka Chola Chakravarti from present day to backwards, that also proves that the period is absolutely correct. So 3735 years before Aikole or 4044 years before Gramam inscription of Parantaka Chola Chakravarti is the year at which Kali Yuga began, that is 5121 years before present, or we can say 3101 BCE. This is one thing we derived. Second thing is the Mahabharata Kurukshetra war was fought just a few decades before Kali Yuga. Even Mahabharata text mentioned that Bhagavan Sri Krishna born at the tag end of Dwapara Yuga, that is Dwapara Kali Yuga junction. And also in many Parva, Adi Parva, Vana Parva, Bhishma Parva, Salya Parva, this three Parva, many Parva, it mentions that the war was fought at the tag end of Dwapara Yuga, and also this Sanjaya and also Vidura mentioned to Dhritarashtra that Kali Yuga is going to come very soon and Kali Yuga is at the doorsteps. So definitely Mahabharata war was fought at the tag end, that is within few decades, 40 or 50 years or 30 years before Kali Yuga. That was the inference we got from Mahabharata text of Veda Vyasa and Purana. Purana clearly mentioned that when Sri Krishna left the world, Kali entered. So Kurukshetra war was around, if you say 40 years, 5160 years before present. That is 3000, around 3140 BCE only. Definitely not 50 years, even 50 or 100 years before this, or 50 to 100 years after this. Then what can I say about some date in 5000 BC and all? You can understand. So already I have shown science has limitations. In the same way now, it is come from Voyager software itself that it cannot be correct beyond 500 BC. So deriving a date Mahabharata through software is questionable now. So based on these inscriptions, it is clearly evident. It was placed in front of public and nobody can alter it even after thousands of years. And at the period of that inscription, the common people can read and verify whether it is true or correct, whether the king inscribed correctly or not. They can point it out. So that is very, which is very much evident, visible evidence. So it is a strong evidence. Based on that, from Aikole and corroborative Gramam inscription, we can fix definitely the Mahabharata period around 3140 BCE only. not 50 years or 100 years before that, or 50 or 100 years after that. That is my conclusion, strong and precise, absolute conclusion. I thank Aditya ji and volunteers of Sathology, and also the professors, students who are listening this lecture. Any doubt in that, they can contact this number. Thank you. Dhanyavad. If there is any question or anything, Aditya ji want to add, please, I request him to add.
So thank you so much, Dr. Raja, for this exciting presentation. One thing which really comes to the mind is that when people say that our history is missing, which is not true. Our documents, our chronology is not missing, and the view has been spread by the Western.
Only we are missing it to read.
Yes,
The fault lies with us, not with our ancestors.
that's right. That's right. So thank you, Dr. Raja, for sharing it, and thank you all the viewers for watching it. So if you have any questions, you can comment on the video, and Dr. Raja will also reply, and I'll also reply. Thank you. Namaste.